Hi, how you doing? It's a beautiful Saturday, and um, guess what? I was able to sign up Clubhouse today, so Android users can join Clubhouse now. So that was fun. We had a little go at it just now, so it's pretty cool. Um, well, today I'm going to talk about your most courageous moment. When is your most courageous moment? Have you thought about it? Have you ever thought, when were you the most courageous? And, you know, do you know where it is? Do you know when that time is, your most courageous moment? Or would you like to find your most courageous moment? And I think a lot of people definitely want to be courageous. And I think a lot of people have that little fear, and almost many things. I think a lot of people have fear. I have a lot of fears, and I think that sometimes fears kind of paralyze us. And sometimes fear really gets the better of us, isn't it? Right? Because of fear, we just shut down and we don't do anything, and we're afraid. I think really, if there was a pill for fear or courage, I think it would sell out. It would sell out, isn't it? I think we go for trainings, we go to do things, we have breakthroughs, we read, we learn, we gain wisdom. And I think a lot of times we want to handle fear, isn't it? Handle things that we're afraid of, I still have fear going up in the dark, yeah. And, we have all these fears of holding snakes, and fears of going up on stage, fears of all sorts of things, isn't it? So wouldn't it be great to know when your most courageous moment is? When is your most courageous moment? And to have that all the time with you. Would you like that? Would you want to be courageous all the time? Right? That'd be awesome, isn't it? I once read a book. What's a book about the mouse? Cheese. Where's my cheese? Is it Where's My Cheese? What's the name of the book? I can't remember. Where's the cheese, or where'd you put my cheese, or something like that, right? So one of the learnings of that particular book was Who Moved My Cheese? Who Moved My Cheese? And where's my cheese? Who moved my cheese? And one of the I think, a very inspiring moment was the question. I think one of the mouse asked the other mouse was, what would you do if you're not afraid? I read to that point and said, wow, that's a big statement, because what would you do if you're not afraid? You'd do anything, isn't it, right? Because if you would literally do anything if you're not afraid, because fear really, a lot of times our decisions are based on fear. Our decisions are based on things that we don't want to do. So, hi James. So what happens if you didn't have fear? What happens if you were to overcome fear? Think about all the things you can do if you didn't have fear, right? Tonight, sleep. Close your eyes and say, well, if I didn't have fear, what would I do? If I wasn't afraid of rejection, or if I wasn't afraid of people laughing at me, or if I wasn't afraid of failing, or wasn't afraid of making a mistake, or I wasn't afraid of falling down, what would you do, right? What would you do? So I think the answer would be, I do a lot of things, isn't it? I do this, I'll do that. If I wasn't afraid, man, I'll do this and that and that. And I think we probably would be really amazing, isn't it, right? If we aren't afraid. If you look at a lot of leaders, you look at a lot of successful people, a lot of people in the history they've done amazing things, inspiring things like climb Everest, or Winston Churchill, any one of these great leaders. What did they do? Well, they overcome fear, isn't it? They overcome fear. And when they overcome fear, they were able to achieve and accomplish amazing things, right? So wouldn't it be great to be able to do that? So today's topic is, your most courageous moment. This is your most courageous moment. And the question is, when is it? When is my most courageous moment? Okay? So I like to say this, and I feel that your most courageous moment really happens at the point when you continue doing something when you are afraid of doing it. So for example, if you want to ask a girl out, for example, so I want to ask a girl out, I'm going to ask Casey out, right? So I want to ask her, but I'm so afraid of that she'll reject me, afraid that she'll say no, afraid of she'll laugh at me, afraid that she'll say I'm not good enough, she's afraid of all sorts of things, isn't it? We're afraid of. And a lot of times, because we're afraid, we tend to avoid, we have excuses, and we don't go through with it, and then we go back, and that's the most fearful moment, isn't it? Right? At that wall, you can call that a wall. So, but what happens if you were to overcome that wall? What happens if you were to push through that wall? What happens if you were to ask that question? What happens if you went through with it? So, your most courageous moment is when you pass that wall, when you get over it. So I like to tell people when they tell me, oh, I'm so afraid, I say, guess what? Your most courageous moment is right here. You're afraid to go on stage, but guess what? If you go on stage and if you get it, guess what? You have overcome the most fearful moment in your life. That's when you are the most courageous in your life. So the most courageous moment in your life is when you hit, when you find the things that you're most afraid of and you continue doing it. And isn't it awesome that the thing that stops you, which you would think that it is the most fearful moment, but if you overcome it, you discover that your most courageous moment was just there. So it's always like a discovery of when you are the most bravest, the most courageous, right? So what do? Find something you're afraid of, face it, do it, and guess what? You find your most courageous moment. You become more brave, you become more courageous, and it's a breakthrough. So, I like to say that just that your most courageous moment is the point where you're the most fearful, and that you continue to do it. And I think, isn't that just amazing to discover your most courageous moment? Isn't that cool? Because a lot of times we always afraid, but we don't realize that if we just go do it, that's the most courageous, strongest, toughest, time that you have achieved, you have accomplished, isn't it? Hi Terry, hi Seichu, and Terry, you're saying nothing ventured, nothing gained. Absolutely, nothing ventured. And so if you go through with it, wow, you gain what? You gain another level, and another level of probably consciousness, or probably another level of strength, another level of confidence, self-esteem, and you just and day by day you just overcome each of these things that you're afraid of, and then you get stronger, more courageous, and more courageous, and I just think that's just wonderful to discover about yourself. So ask yourself, what is it that you're most fearful of? Just go do it. And if you do it, that is your most courageous moment. Isn't that awesome to be able to find or feel, experience your most courageous moment and say, well, I did it, isn't it? So, and I think that if we have a practice of doing that on a daily basis, your confidence is just going to go up. Your ability to do things will be just amazing. And you don't have to be in totality that you can do anything. Because if you can just do 10%, it'll just be amazing. 10%, even 1%, day by day, and you do something and you push on with it and you discover your most courageous moment, you move on 1% at a time. When 1 year, that's just amazing, isn't it? So that's my little sharing today, and I hope it brings you some kind of insight, some kind of hopefulness feeling, because a lot of times we're always trying to have courage. I need courage, I want to read, go training, and I want to build courage. But a lot of times courage doesn't just come into you. I think courage you have to overcome and get, yeah, Terry, thank you. Thank you for joining in. And it's true, you just have to overcome it, and then you develop that muscle, and you yeah, it's just like a muscle. You develop that muscle, and then you keep at it, making it stronger, making it bigger, and you find another challenge, and you get over that challenge. You find another obstacle, you go over that one, and that's what life is about. Just growing and growing and growing. So anyway, that's my sharing for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. If you find some people who would be inspired by it, please share it with them. And I hope that this sharing helps you, and so that when you face anything in the future, that you remember that, you know, your most fearful moment, and if you continue with it, will be your most courageous moment at that moment in time. So that's going to be awesome for you. So I'm really, really happy for you. Congratulations on discovering the best you, and for overcoming fears, and to achieve the things that you want in life. All right. Thank you for dropping by and tuning in. I'll see you in a couple of days. Take care now. Have a fantastic, fantastic weekend. Happy Sunday. Bye-bye. Hi, Ken Beng. How are you? All right. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.